Hello everyone and welcome to Mugello for the final race of 2023 in Ferrari Challenge. What we have here are our Trofeo Pirelli drivers and our Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers who are contesting their world final race. Yes, it's the Gold Roof race here in Mugello. As you can see, the weather conditions leading up to this weekend have been less than favourable, to be honest. Please follow us on at Ferrari Races. However, it's dry at the moment, but there are some looming dark clouds around, as you can see. Air temperature is currently 20 degrees, track temperature is 22 degrees. A little bit of wind around as well, so well, we keep an eye on the clouds there. So we have two races in one here for the World Final Awards of Trofeo Pirelli and also Trofeo Pirelli AM. Going from P2, Pirelli driver is the Alessio Donno, and there is Adrian Sutil, who will be going from P4 on the grid, and we have the first 7 drivers on the grid are Trofeo Pirelli drivers, and then we get our mix of Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers. Now, putting it on pole position for the world final race is this young man, the HRO and FF Corsa driver Thomas Fleming, who was just bested to the championship for Trofeo Pirelli this year by Alessio Donno. So, if anything, he's probably got a little bit more incentive to take the world final race. It's a packed grid down there, as you can see, and in amongst all of it is not Alessio Donno, although he is, but Ludovica is there as well.
Good morning, guys. Let's dive into this fantastic and adrenalinic atmosphere of Finale Mondiale of Trofeo Pirelli, and let's hear the expectation of the poleman for today, Thomas Fleming. Thomas, congratulations for this another result of this season. I want to ask you your expectation and your feelings for today.
I've got no expectations going into this race, but the main goal is to definitely win and become world champion. I feel like I've proved a lot this weekend. You know, the form we've had in the second half of the season is just a testament to how hard we've been working, you know, and the hours that we've put into our on-track and off-track performance is really paying dividends. I just think it's amazing to see so many people here at this amazing event, you know. The Finale Mondiale, this is my first one that I've actually attended whilst I'm racing, and it's an awesome atmosphere. So I'm expecting an eventful turn 1. And but hopefully I can break away going into turn 2 and you know, just see what happens. You never know with these type of races. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As Thomas said, there are many people on the grid and on the stand today. There is a great atmosphere and more heart who beat for Ferrari passion. From the second position today start Alessio Donno. The first position are a photocopy or a set of the standing of this year and the battle of this year between the 3 young drivers, Thomas, Eliseo and Ben Valent, who today will be started from the 3rd position. But we need to pay attention for the 3rd position because today will start Adrian Sutil, Formula 1 performer. He maybe could be, but it may make and met pressure to the other drivers. So I want to show all the cars and all the people that are settled up on this grid and continue our journey. And I want to go to the 3rd position of Ben Valent with his team in this weekend. They made a very good work and a very good qualification session and a super pole. So I want to ask him what are the expectations for today. Good morning, Ben. A very quickly interview. What do you expect from today?
Well, after yesterday's pretty close qualifying, I expect a pretty close battle for P1. So I'm really looking forward to the race, and I think it's going to be a really interesting and eventful race today. So, yeah.
Thank you. Back to you guys and enjoy the race.
So we're hearing from Ben Svalent there and also from Tom Fleming. It is a very, very busy grid down there, as you can see, with lots of people. Alongside me, delighted to welcome back Tony Wielander, who is with me here. And Tony, always, Finale Mondiale, you and I have had the benefit and privilege, if you like, of being a part of many of them. And it always amazes me that each year, Tony, they seem to step it up still further.
Yeah, it's true. The level is very high, but also the value of this one single start, one single race is very high, almost comparable to the whole championship. So you could see that the drivers are really, really concentrated, main focus to a good start, really, really tight turn one. And I think the meaning of turn one is very high. The leaders, similar pace we've seen this weekend, so all the small details make the difference.
Thank you, Tony. We'll be hearing from Tony during the course of the race.
E dietro di me la Ferrari 499P che ha vinto la Coppa, anch'essa dietro di me in occasione della 24 ore di Le Mans. Sta anche la 296 GT3 che ha vinto la 24 ore del Nürburgring, e poi abbiamo presentato due novità, la 296 Challenge e la 499P modificata direttamente derivata dalla vettura che ha vinto Le Mans. E poi circa 200 clienti impegnati nelle varie attività organizzate dalla Ferrari, ovvero il Ferrari Challenge, programma XX, Formula 1 clienti e Club Competizioni GT.
Great to hear from Antonello Coletta then, a global head of endurance racing and such a Ferrari passionate guy, and Adrian Sutil then receiving his hands device and crash helmet from the team manager there, Ines Rule. And as Tony was saying, then there's so much anticipation of this Finale Mondiale race. All the pressure of the championships is over. It's who will be the world champion? Yes, because we have drivers from every region of our Ferrari Challenge that take part in this race. Alessio Donno, very calm, cool and collected in that P2 position. You can see him there. No strenuous preparations. Franz Engstler has had a fantastic season, sealing the Pirelli AM Championship. He's going from P3 in class, and so we have Pirelli drivers. You can identify them from the red strip across the top of the windscreen, the AM drivers with the white strip across the top of the windscreen. So at the end of this race, we will be seeing two podiums and two world champions. There will be the Pirelli world champion and then the Pirelli AM world champion as well, just to make that clear. In terms of pole position for Pirelli AM, it's a brilliant job done by our North American racer from Ferrari of Seattle, Brian Cook. He goes from pole position for Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli AM. There's Adrian Sutil then inside the car right now, ready to get going. It's a 30-minute race, 36 cars on the grid, a very long start-finish straight, and then something of a funnel into turn number one. Throw into the mix the dark clouds that you could see there as we're alongside the Mark Musso car. And, they do say that anything can happen, and in the Ferrari Challenge, it probably will. So we will see how all the cars get on and all the drivers get on, but it is the final race of 2023. It has been an extraordinary season. Matt Kajewski to the left-hand side of your picture there, Simon Ladniak to the right-hand side of your picture. Lots of supporters and Ferrarista here to enjoy, and there you can see the car of Dylan Medler. That is Tom Fleming, our pole sitter. The Richard Mills safety car will lead the cars away, and it will be down to Tom Fleming and Alessio Donno to control the pace of the rolling start when the Richard Mills safety car has peeled off into the pit lane. So here we go then, stand by. The Trofeo Pirelli World final race is about to get underway. We'll bring you the grid in full, and it will take a while because there are 36 cars. Tom Fleming and Alessio Donno share the first row of the grid. It's P1 and P2. Then it's Ben Svalent and Adrian Sutil, two very dangerous drivers from there, as indeed are Matt Kajewski and Simon Ladniak. They're going from P5 into P6. Roberto Perena goes from P7, and Brian Cook, the best of the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. Dylan Medler and Yuda Uchida go from P9 and to P10. Then to the 6th row of the grid, we find Franz Engstler and Mark Musso. Franz Engstler, Trofeo Pirelli AM champion here in Europe. Nobuhiro Imada and Max Mugelli are P13 and P14, completing the 7th row. With Danilo Del Favaro and James Owen, good quality from James Owen, they go from P15 and 16. Marco Zanazzi and Justin Rothberg, who's the North American Trofeo Pirelli AM champion, and Michael Porter and Custodio Toledo, they are P19 and 20. Tony Davis and McCade Wang are on the 11th row. It's P21 and P22, with Hanno Laskowski and Andrew Morra, the UK Trofeo Pirelli winner, going from those positions. Omar Balkasoon and Mohamed Hamdi are on the 13th row of the grid, ahead of Nicolo Rosi and Gianmarco Marcialetti, P27 and 28. Andreas Berg Sorensen and Brian Kaminsky, they are P29 and 30. And the 16th row of the grid contains Kim Eriksson and Michael Mathis. Otto Blank and Armin Arifpour are on the 17th row of our 36-car strong grid, with Ruslan Sedrev and out of position Hendrik Viol going from P36 and Nick Haller bringing up the rear. Tony Verlander, it is a big grid of cars. I mentioned that going into turn number 1, it's a bit of a funnel, isn't it? It could be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's a very decisive moment for the whole race. Beautiful grid, as you said, a lot of cars. Beautiful to see mixture of teams, drivers around the world racing with Ferrari Challenge, coming together for this beautiful World Final.
We will be getting the insights and driver's eye perspective from Tony Verlander during the course of the race. So grateful for him to be here with us then. Final stages of preparation then, as the drivers are out on their formation lap, and the looming clouds there as well that always threaten. Alessio Dono then and Tom Fleming, they're weaving from side to side, just generating a bit of temperature into the Pirelli rubber. Bear in mind, Europe drivers are coloured red in the graphic stack on the left-hand side of your screen that you will see, and our North American drivers are coloured blue in that graphic stack. So here they come, approaching then the chicane and then the final turn. The Richard Mills safety car leading them away. They will be asked to line up side by side in grid formation, and then the Richard Mills safety car will peel off into the pit lane, and it will be the start of the race. Here's Matt Kojewski, Trofeo Pirelli champion in North America, and Matt is a fine driver and is a danger man from his P5 starting position. There's no question about that. And the cars all forming up in that grid formation. And both Alessio Dono and Tom Fleming, you can see they're just champing at the bit, wanting to get going here. So the Richard Mills safety car will exit the final turn and will then turn into the pit lane. And Carlo there, who is Alessio Dono's team boss, is fingers crossed. So here we go. The music builds the anticipation for the start of Trofeo Pirelli finale Mondiale. So it looked like Mark Muso's a little bit out of position on the grid then, as we do get the gut go. It's a very good start from Alessio Dono. But Tom Fleming in the second stage of that start seems to have the measure as all these cars, and Benz Valent on the inside. Tom Fleming gets a squeeze from Alessio Dono, and he had Benz Valent to his inside. Alessio Dono running wide now. Tom Fleming coming back on Benz Valent, and he does have the inside going into the chicane. So where Tom Fleming lost out in turn number 1, he gained in turn number 2, and Matt Kojewski, I said, could be a danger man. He is up into almost P2, and a big crash, Tony Verlander, and I think Franz Engstler might have been involved in that. For sure, we'll see a safety car. Big sideways moment for Matt Kojewski, and Benz Valent all over the track. And as you can see, oh my goodness me, more contact there, and a couple of our North American drivers have been nerfed right out of that. And one of those, I'm sure, is Roberto Perena, and he is stuck right in the gravel there. Safety car has been called for. Well, we always knew it was going to be difficult going into turn number 1, but actually it was on the exit of turn 3 where everything seemed to go awry. And Tony, both you and I have had our head in our hands thinking, my goodness me, so much going on. How do you pick the bones out of that one?
A lot of action already going into turn 1. Drivers were really aggressive, but at least the leaders didn't have much contact. But like you said, after turn 3, things really started to go wrong. And also after the announcement of safety car, yellow flags around the track, there were still drivers going off. So a bit of delay on the message and not receiving the drivers at the right time, and maybe some of the drivers slowing down and then some of the drivers still in the racing mode, and that created more accidents.
Well, the drivers that we think are involved are Matt Gajewski, Yuda Uchida, also Brian Cook, who'd done such a good job in qualifying. We also know that Dylan Medler, Roberto Perena, and maybe also Ben Svalin with Strife now. So the order is altogether different. It is Tom Fleming, Alicia O'Donnell, Adrian Sutil, the top three in Pirelli. For Pirelli AM, it's Justin Rothberg, Franz Exler, and Nobuhiro Imada. So I initially thought that Franz Exler had been caught out in that lot, but quite clearly I was wrong, and it was a different driver. So Franz Exler still in that P2 position in Trofeo Pirelli AM. You can see a number of drivers who were out of the cars, and there's going to be quite a lot of recovery to be done by the hard-working team here at Mugello before even one lap completed. The safety car has been called for. And just to repeat, the drivers that I think are involved are Ben Svalin, Dylan Medler, Roberto Perena, Matt Gajewski, Yuda Uchida, and Brian Cook. So we're with the Richard Mills safety car, and I have to say, Tony, in my opinion, as we see drivers walking away, I mean, the integral safety of the 488 Challenge Evo is fantastic, so it's always great to see drivers walking away, and they're perfectly okay. And we've got a red flag now, Tony Verlander, a red flag. I was just going to say that for my money, Tom Fleming, who of course was pole sitter, and he kind of got into a sandwich going into turn number one, but he kept his cool, didn't he? And he dealt with it really well and came out of turn three, actually back in the lead.
Yeah, it's true. There was a lot of fight. He was really clever to leave the position and let the situation go. He was not forcing it too much. And then in the exit of turn one, he was back in the lead. Some of the other drivers, Benz, Valint and Eliseo Dono were really fighting for the position, and actually Eliseo lost a lot of places at the start.
Yes.
Coming out of turn three, I think he was P4 or P5, so he lost several positions. But then the other accident causing driver number 221, so Matt Kurczejewski, who spun on his own, and
yes.
Then that created another situation, so Eliseo was able to go back to P2, but a lot of action. I think the red flag was a good call, because
yes.
we have 30-minute race, and we would have lost a big part of the race just for the recovery of the cars, like you mentioned.
Roberto Perena then walking away, and there I feel so for Brian Cook, who'd done such a good job in terms of qualifying. Be a lot of very disappointed drivers, including Matt Gajewski, who you mentioned there, and he got turned around and ended up the Ferrari Beverly Hills driver. Unfortunately, he's out of the race. So red flag has been called for. As the red flag was called for, it was Tom Fleming, Eliseo O'Donnell, and Adrian Sutil. Here comes the replay of the start. So, as the cars headed into turn number one, you'd picked up, Tony Verlander, that Mark Musso appeared to be a little bit out of position.
Yeah, this is a perfect view. We didn't have a clear, really nice grid. The car should go through the pit boxes, the grid for the standing start, and have two beautiful lines. There were cars almost four side by side.
Yeah.
So I think race director and the stewards need to check the start as well. Here we see aggressive overtaking from Ben Svalin, who went lead for a while, but then in the exit of the corner, Thomas Fleming was able to get back into the lead. Here we see the first cars going off, and some more action was happening later on in the next corner. Really tight, like we can see, full speed, going into turn one, three cars side by side, giving enough space to each other, and this battle allowed Thomas Fleming to get back to the lead.
You're right, you called that absolutely correctly, and Eliseo O'Donnell there, and that was Matt Gajewski going through, and also going through at that point as well was Dylan Medler, who regrettably is now out of the race following a further incident. We stay on board with Eliseo O'Donnell, and there you can see the nerfing and nudging continued, Tony.
Yeah, there was a touch, there was more touch, and that spun around the car that then took two cars off.
Yeah.
So here we see already some contact here. Later on the second part of this turn, there is more contact, and then this car spins. That creates more situations. So good call from the race director to red flag the race, and here we see 4 cars touching each other. So
yeah, it was never going to work, was it? Unfortunately, in terms of those drivers, once you're in that position. You know.
Yeah, the aggression level was high as we anticipated before the final. So
you know. With the greatest respect, Tony, you're renowned for your coolness and the fact that you. But you know, the adrenaline drives at the start of a race, doesn't it? And you know, the anticipation, the expectation. You know.
Yeah, and also the mental approach.
Yes.
Is all or nothing for this race. The championship is done, last race of the season, and like I said, all or nothing. The winners will be remembered, so everybody is going for it, and we could already see it on the opening lap. So.
Well, the race has been red flagged, so the race has been suspended. Quite a bit of recovery operation to be done, but I have to say the recovery team here at Mugello have done a great job all week long in terms of recovering stricken cars, and don't imagine we're going to get a too long a suspension. As soon as we have any information, we will bring that to you. There's Carlo then alongside his driver Alessio Dono. There is our race leading driver Tom Fleming then, who I have to say I was impressed with his cool, calm nature going through turn number 1, and he was just able to react and adapt to everything that was going on around him, and ended up going into turn 2 and 3 chicane back in the lead again. So the order as we had the race suspended was Thomas Fleming ahead of Alessio Dono and Adrian Sutil. Then for the AM drivers, it is Justin Rothberg, who's the Pirelli AM North America champion, ahead of Franz Engsler and Nobuhiro Imada. That's the way it looks. Race suspension as we're taking a look at just some of the many race fans that are here this weekend for Finale Mondiale. Right, there we can see some of the Scuderia Ferrari club here, and there you can see Alessio Dono, who's parked up at the end of the pit lane, and we have a situation where, as I said, a number of cars have got to be recovered, and before we can go back to racing again. Weather conditions at the moment are absolutely lovely here in Mugello, but I don't want to be the prophet of doom, but I do mention those dark clouds that loom overhead, but at the moment everything is fine. The clock, of course, stopped when we got the red flag suspension, so as you can see, hardly any racing has been done yet, because the 30-minute race still has a duration of 26 and 3/4 to go. And I mentioned the hard-working team then, and a big thanks to all the volunteers, the Orange Army as they're called, around the world, that those volunteers and marshals who, without them, we wouldn't be able to go racing. So big up to them. And Adrian Sutil is out of the car, so thinking that this suspension is going to be for a little while, perhaps, as those cars are recovered. So there we have it, and we've got some 36 cars that started the race, and we have unfortunately lost 6 of those, we think, with 30 cars remaining in it. So we're going to be a while before we go back to racing, that's for sure, but as soon as we can, we will. Let's enjoy some of the other activities that have taken place here at the Finale Mondiale event, because when it becomes Finale Mondiale and Ferrari move into a track and make it a Finale Mondiale event, it is like a small town has moved into the track. It's a wonderful atmosphere. So much going on, so much to see, so much to do, and they make it a fan paradise, truthfully, genuinely so. So Alessio Dono then just calmly relaxes. He is Trofeo Pirelli champion in Europe. He's proved everything he needed to in Trofeo Pirelli. Of course, he would love to add the world final title, the Finale Mondiale title, to his repertoire, if you will, but at the moment he is being denied by Tom Fleming. Right, Ludovica is down there in the pit lane working hard for us.
Thank you, guys. Here we are with Franz Engstler, that in this moment is on the radio with his coach. But Franz, I want to ask you how is going this first lap and your emotion and your feeling with this circuit. What do you repeat?
So, someone speak under it.
Okay.
No, the first lap was incredible, a huge disaster, and I just looked that I don't touch any car to finish the lap, and then one car passed me in the safety car zone, so I don't know, should we give a penalty, but we will see. I think now the restart will anyway change the start position, and yeah, we will see. Hopefully the restart is not the same disaster as now.
Thank you.
It was an absolute privilege for me to be on the stage last night and to see that car unveiled. It will, of course, become the challenge car from next year, the 296 Ferrari Challenge. And as Tony and I were saying, I mean, Ferrari just put on such a phenomenal event, and the gala dinner and awards ceremony last night was worthy of accolades, I have to say. It was an extraordinary setting with that wonderful car launch for the 296, and also the modificato, the 499P modificato, which was also launched as well, and of course all the official drivers there. It's just a wonderful atmosphere, So yes, very much enjoyed being part of that, and there you can see all the cars down there in the pit lane, of course, because of the suspension. And let's take you through some of the drivers that we can see here, including Nobuhiro Imada in the number 14 car. There is the number 3 car of Max Mugelli. Max, who is such a phenomenal character and a very, very talented Trofeo Pirelli racer. And his family are lovely, and spent some time with them, and big thumbs up along the pit wall there. And of course, it's so much more than Ferrari Challenge when you're here at a Finale Mondiale event, because you have the laboratory cars from Ferrari, the XX programs, and also the F1 Clienti as well as I mentioned, the extraordinary paddock area, which is absolutely wonderful to enjoy. There's the car of Marco Zanazzi, and goodness me, I thought our cameraman was going to fall over there. He got a bit of something of a wobble on. There's the James Owen car, the number 26 car. You could just see the yellow card there. And all the teams, of course, are behind every driver. And It's an expression that's often used, Tony Verlander. But you know, when you are a racing driver, of course, you are the one that has to pedal the car. But you're reliant on engineers and managers and people behind you. There's a big team behind your success.
Yeah, it's true. When we see the cars and drivers on track, behind the scenes, there's a lot of preparation. Big teams, really professional. Car needs to be spot on, like it's written on the setup sheet.
Yes.
So a lot of experience with these challenge cars. There is some particular things you need to set up the car, how to be fast, and
there is behind the scenes our TV production crew. I can see all the team there. Tommaso, who is our director, Ciccio is there, and also Luca Giraldi in there, and Andrea Montali as well. So yes, lots of behind the scenes. Sorry, Tony, I interrupted.
Yeah, a lot of testing, a lot of preparation also for the drivers. A lot of drivers have even more experienced drivers as their coach. So there is live on board with the coaches who tell for the racing lines how to improve their driving, but also the quality. And it's a very tight championship. So I've used often an expression that it doesn't matter where you go racing around the world, the level is always high. You go national or international, there's always somebody that is really, really good. So even with Ferrari Challenge, we've seen drivers go through different categories after Challenge and be still in the top of the ranking. So it shows that the level is very high. We have a driver that used to drive in Formula 1, Adrian Sutil. So that this is just a showcase of the quality of this championship.
And it's also, and I mentioned this last night on in our gala awards, you know, one of your official driver colleagues is Niklas Nielsen, who just a few years ago was racing in Ferrari Challenge, and now he's driving the hypercar. I mean, you know, there is an opportunity for your career to really develop, isn't there, from things like this?
Yeah, it's true. Ferrari really wants to promote this championship, not only for, let's say, a little bit more aged drivers,
yes,
but also for the young drivers. This is a great platform to go towards endurance racing. For example, with the Ferrari family, so Niklas Nielsen is a perfect example how quickly from the karting times he came to Ferrari Challenge. He was quickly in a GT3, GTLM car, willing also in LMP2, and now he's a driver, one of the 6 drivers in hypercar. So what a perfect example, and what a great young man.
Thank you, Tony. Cine Challenge for you to enjoy right now. So some of the wonderful images that we've been able to take from our weekend here in Mugello for finale Mondiale weekend. Oh, that's a nice bit of camera art through the rims then. And Adrian Sutil, who Tony was mentioning just a few moments ago, a former Formula 1 star, racing, of course, in the Ferrari Challenge, and he's with Ludovica now.
Inglese? Sì. Thank you, guys. Here we are with Adrian Sutil. Adrian, was a very tough start, but I want to discover with you what are your expectations and your feeling to be here today at Finale Mondiali.
Well, it's my last race in the challenge, so yeah, nice to be here on the Sunday, especially with a lot of people, all the enthusiasts for Ferrari. So it's a nice event anyway. And for the race, I do my best as always. And the first lap was quite exciting. I just made it through and avoided the accidents. So now hopefully we can have a good race.
And the last question, in your opinion, in this type of track and on the circuit, what is the best strength of this car for you?
Well, strength, the car is what it is in the end. There are not so many areas you can change separate or so it's very basic, but it works well. You have to always take care of the tires because it's quite heavy, but it drives well around the Mugello circuit, and that's fine.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Back to you.
Adrian Sutil, as competitive today as he's ever been. He really got his elbows out in one of the previous races, and it was quite physical, Tony. But there you go. To be a race winner, sometimes you do have to stick your elbows out, don't you?
Yeah, I think it was really clear he wanted his first win of the season.
Yes.
He was going for it. There was some touching, there was some aggressive maneuvers, but it didn't go over. I think we were still within the limits. There was somebody saying after the start that the actual door-to-door things we saw was not the case, that there was a little bit of question about the restart after the safety car, because Adrian went side by side with the leading car already before. So I didn't have a clear picture on that, but in the end, I feel that it was a right call to let him win the race. Of course, you can always argue how correct it was, but in my opinion, it was good racing.
Rubbin is racing is something I've always said, Tony, and you're a hugely successful racing driver, and of course, racing is very, very serious. There is sporting integrity. There is huge investment, not only in terms of money, but time as well, by lots and lots of people. But of course, actually, you are entertaining us as well. You're out there at showbiz, and we love you for that, because we see so many different characters and in so much racing, And I have to be honest, the Ferrari Challenge, for me, has always been fantastic entertainment. Right now, let's hear from our head, my boss. Here's Andrea Maladasic.
Finali Mondiali 2023, evento che tradizionalmente chiude la stagione racing delle attività sportive GT e in particolare quella dei campionati Challenge, con il round 7 delle serie continentali, Nord America ed Europa, un round che vede la partecipazione anche di piloti delle serie nazionali UK e Japan per un numero complessivo di 105 piloti in entry list. Abbiamo presentato la 296 Challenge, non un'evoluzione ma una rivoluzione per le vetture impiegate nel campionato monomarca del Cavallino. Il primo 6 cilindri, 700 cavalli di potenza, una serie di innovazioni in termini di aerodinamica impressionanti e un impianto freni completamente nuovo.
What a car, the Challenge car 296. Well, what a sight this is here. As soon as we get any information from race control as to when we're going to be able to go back racing, of course, we will bring that to you. But at the moment, we're under this red flag suspension following various things that went on right at the start of the race. I don't think we're going to be so far away now, but that is just conjecture on my part and perhaps a little bit of wishful thinking as well. So the cars are all lined up, as you can see, in the pit lane, ready for the get-go. Of course, it's easy for me to wax lyrical. It's probably very frustrating if you're a driver down there as we pass in the Andrew Morrow car to a left-hand side. Then it is the Hanna Laskowski car, the car number 85 that you can see there. Continuing down our little drive, if you will, down the pit lane. There's the Tony Davis car to the left-hand side of the grid, that all-blue car that we've just passed. And all the driver's doors or passenger doors are open. There's the Marco Zanazzi car as well, and you can see all the engineers and teams down there having discussions. And whilst all that's going on, the sky is looking just a little bit darker. As I say, I don't want to be the prophet of doom here, but that is looking pretty threatening now, in my opinion. So we will see how that will develop. The 213 car is the Mark Musso car there on the left-hand side of your screen, and I've said many times that when you have a blank canvas like a 488 Challenge Evo car, you can really put your personality mark on the car in terms of the livery you choose. And if you get the opportunity to walk into the paddock and see some of the cars, they are utterly beautiful works of art, and the drivers and teams take such pride in the designs that they come up with to adorn their racing cars. And it's lovely to see, and that's true right across the regions, whether it's the Ferrari Challenge Series in the UK, whether it's in North America, whether it's in Japan, or indeed here in Europe. So there we have it. Still no further information from race control, but I promise you, as soon as I receive it, I will bring it to you. Great to see so many people here to enjoy the festivities of the Finale Mondiale event. And big Ferrari show to come a little bit later on today as well, which promises much. And as you would expect, I know nothing. They tell me nothing, but what we do know is always that it is an entertainment spectacle, and probably one person that will be involved will be Tony Verlander. Are you going to let me into any little secrets here, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, the tension is high. This waiting time is very difficult for the drivers because you have the initial concentration. You set your mind, your body ready for the race. Hydration, the food you had, everything was prepared for that actual start. And now with this delay, the feeling, the adrenaline, the emotion goes down, and you need to build it up again. So these are always a bit difficult situations for drivers, and drivers do take these differently. So one might lose a little bit of momentum, and for the other driver, he's even more awake at the next start. So there is different approaches, different ways that drivers handle these situations.
Nicola Rossi is one of those drivers. You can see he's out of the car at the moment. The number 8 car that is pedaled by Nicola Rossi, Kessel Racing driver, and he is always a very, very lively driver out there on track. Hello, and good morning to you. We are still just in the morning. It's about 10 to midday local time here in Mugello, and we love being at this circuit. 5.245 kilometers, and oh, look at that. Some lovely pictures on the inside of that car, and that was just really reinforcing what I was saying about when you have the blank canvas of a 488 Challenge Evo to work with. You can come up with some wonderful images that get replicated on those cars. I love that. Absolute artistry. Great to see, and well done to all the drivers that take so much pride. You can just see the strip of the number 21 car there, Szymon Ladniak. And this is one of our North American drivers by the name of Michael Porter. Hello, Michael. There you can see Michael Porter is in the zone inside his 488 Challenge Evo car. Michael Porter, as I say, driving in the North American Series, driving in for Ferrari of Seattle, but choosing to come and join us for the finale Mondiale. And we're so pleased that so many drivers from right around the world want to come in and be part of the finale Mondiale event. So Thomas Fleming, Alicia Dono are the top 2 in Trofeo Pirelli. The AM drivers are Franz Engstler and Nobuhiro Imada. So back into our outside broadcast truck then, and you can see all the staff in there that bring us these wonderful pictures. Luca Giraldi standing up there because he knew I was talking about him, but Tommaso and Ciccio and Andrea Montali and Franco Maselli and a huge cast of people in the TV production there. So thanks for everything you do for me, friends. It is appreciated. I don't often say that, but it is appreciated. I don't say thank you enough to top people. But there we are. They, of course, are working very, very hard as well. Early indications are that we might be just 10 minutes away, but that is early indications from information that's being fed to me, and I'm trying to bring you as much information as I can. I'm keeping nothing secret. If I'm told anything, then of course I naturally pass it straight on to you, as you would expect of me. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry that we have a race suspension, but of course driver integrity and safety is always of paramount importance. And the thing is, it's not always the recovery of the cars that takes the time. If there is any barrier damage, those barriers have to be repaired, because, and this is, you know, of respect to everyone that competes. You know, the barriers are there to do a job, and if they're damaged in any way, their integral safety has to be reinstated before we can go back to racing. At Ferrari Races, be part of the Ferrari family. We would love you to do that, and it's adorned atop the Richard Mille safety car there, as you can see, and a very, very busy pit lane as the anticipation for when we get going racing again, of course, is being felt down there and in the grandstands as well. So drivers inside the cars, some choosing to be outside the cars, and you know, everyone has their own choice at this particular point, and there you can see every seat occupied by Ferrari, which is wonderful to see as well. It's a phenomenal atmosphere here And the number of people that you see in the grandstands replicated by the number of people that have been enjoying the wonderful displays in the paddock as well, where you have Ferrari build car showrooms, so you can look at the production cars. They have shops and all sorts of other things. But Nicolo Schiro is a former Ferrari Challenge driver, a top driver, and he's a driver coach right now, and he is with Ludovica.
Thank you, guys. Here we are with Nicola. Nicola, first of all, I want to ask you, how do you prepare with your driver for today? And then yesterday you will celebrate a very great result for this season. We're celebrating, sorry.
Yeah, yesterday was a big party for to celebrate the championship win for the Team Kessel. So big party, and was nice to be all together. About the race of today, we are starting a little bit in the back of the grid because of some problem in qualifying. Many laps cancelled for track limit, a red flag. But yeah, it was the same for everybody. We had a super good start. Now in today's race, we gained 8th position, but I'm afraid that we are gonna step back on the original position of the start, because usually at the red flag you consider the previous lap, but as we didn't do any lap, I think we will get back from it, and but we will do our best to recover and get back on the top position.
Thank you so much.
Grazie, ciao.
Great to hear from Nicolo Schiro. Oh, that's a nice shot of the steering wheel. So the weekend has been intense so far, and we're going to give you a recap of just some of the highlights of the weekend that we have seen so far.
Mondiale 2023.
Now that is just a little snapshot, and also nice to see the image of the paddock area, which, as I say, becomes something of a Ferrari village, with the showrooms and the shops and the car displays. So much for everyone to enjoy here at Finale Mondiale. There is the steering wheel that we were seeing just before we went to that wonderful highlights package there of everything at the event here. The steering wheel to the left-hand side, and then to the center console. I mean, inside of these cars, there is so much technology. You can also see right at the top of the screen there that there is a screen. And basically, these 488 Challenge Evo cars do not have a rear-view mirror inside the car. The reason for that is they have a safety bulkhead, and they have a screen which replays from cameras the images from behind the car. And every single driver that I've spoken to me says it's much more comprehensive than having a rear view mirror. You know, it gives you a better image of what is behind you. Of course, that created because of this safety bulkhead to protect the driver. And there is the power plant that propels these cars. When Ferrari design a racing car, Tony Verlander, and a challenge car, you know, so much input goes into it. There's input from people like yourself as racing drivers, and there is the screen that I was talking about there. And as you can see, it gives an absolute more of an image than you would get from a rearview mirror.
Yeah, every time Ferrari comes out with a new race car, there is a lot of work behind. It starts with the basic design. Safety is the main thing is the safety. After that, a series of tests, suspension, geometry, brakes, engine, the powertrain, gearbox, electronics, everything together. So even for this new Ferrari Challenge 296, which is coming out next year, I talked to Maurizio Mediani. He has done 20,000 kilometers with the car, creating what he says a beautiful car, which is really fast on lap time. But he's really proud of the work that was done, especially regarding the handling and the brakes of the car. He believes that there is some futuristic materials on the brakes that we might even see in the road cars in the near future. So he believes decisions and the development done on for example, on the new 296 challenge is incredible, and like we said, there's a team of people working behind the scenes, and a lot of testing, a lot of work, a lot of fine-tuning. You find places to improve, but it takes time. So also very determined group of people.
Thank you, Tony, very much. And interesting what you're saying there. Of course, often motor racing is used as a test bed for production cars, and reinforcing that applies to Ferrari as well. And interesting what you were saying about the braking technology, and that some of that braking technology for the 296 we may see in the road cars of the future. So thanks, Tony Villander. We're being given the information that the race is going to start in around about 10 minutes time. So now, on the stage last night, I had the privilege of being there, and it was also a privilege to launch such a wonderful car like this that you are going to see right now.
We're the fastest on track by far. We've won Le Mans!
I've seen a lot in my time, but I have to say the 499P Modificata, wow. What a car. And it was launched last night here at the Finale Mondiale event. Confirmation then that the race is going to restart in around about 10 minutes time. So all the drivers have to go for a reset now and get themselves back into position where they can go racing again. We've got 24 3/4 minutes remaining in terms of race duration. As we look at the 271 car there, Brian Kaminsky. Behind Brian Kaminsky is Kim Eriksson then, who drives in the number 10 car. We were walking down those cars that are lined up in the pit lane and just got out of mentioning Michael Mathis, which would have been the next car that we would have seen there. And we go in the other direction now with the back end of Max Mugelli's car, the number 3 machine there, that 499P Modificata. Wow. Wow. What a car. It's going to be a very, very exciting year next year. There's no question about that. It is Ferrari Challenge, of course, the 296, which we saw earlier on in our program. Apologies, but everyone has been working as hard as they can to get us back to racing. We have 2 Finale Mondiale races in the one race, giving you maximum value because we have our Trofeo Pirelli drivers with the red strip across the top of the windscreen, and we have our Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers with the white strip across the top of the windscreen. And leaning on the rear wing there is the team boss of Scuderia Prague. That is Ivo Horn. And Ivo then, as I say, across the wing there of the number 77 car of Ruslan Sadriv. And there you can see the track map that the race is going to restart with the original positions, we're being told, on our timing screen. And now you can see that on your screen as well. So basically that means it's a restart, Tony Villander?
I don't know if we're going to do like a safety car start, meaning that a single file, or we will actually go side by side. But it does mean like the gentleman at the interviews was saying earlier, that we had so early red flag that normally you take the positions on the previous lap, so we have to go to an original.
We haven't got a previous lap, have we? Yeah.
So we have to go to the original starting position minus the cars that caused the accidents that are out of the race.
Thank you for explaining that, Tony Verlander. I'm always delighted when you're alongside me in broadcast, and it's often the case, none more so than today, I can tell you, Tony. We are not far away from us getting back to racing then. Around about 6 minutes or so as the clock counts down right now, and the drivers get themselves back into the zone, ready to go racing once again. So as I was saying, we have two races in one here, because we have the Finale Mondiale race for our Pirelli drivers and Finale Mondiale races for Pirelli Am drivers as well. Top driver is, young driver is Simon Ladniak. He's with Ludovica now.
Thank you, guys. Simon, very quickly interview before the restart. How do you feel after this, the first lap, very difficult?
So, of course, I need to be very patient. To be honest, I feel really calm. I was very lucky on the start because I avoided all of these crashes, so it's very good. And what I'm waiting for is the race.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Yep, Simon Ladniak did avoid everything else. Well, it seemed to be spinning in front of him. So Simon Ladniak, another one of the young talents that's choosing the Ferrari Challenge to elevate their motorsport career. As a fine young man is Simon, and he drives for the Gome Scuderia GT team. And there we can see the number 3 car of Max Mugelli. And he will be getting ready to go back to racing again. Max Mugelli then, who is P5 in class when the race was suspended. So the information we have is that we go back to our original starting positions, minus, of course, the cars that we have lost. We think it will be a single file restart behind the safety car, and we go back to racing in just a few moments from now. So the pit lane is very, very busy, and up here in broadcast we're busy as well as we get ready to go back to racing. Right. Let's take a look at some more of a little package that we are able to bring together for you now with music ahead of the restart of our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am race. Please enjoy this. Lovely little package. Now the race is going to restart from the pit lane behind the safety car. So basically what that means is as soon as the safety car has left the pit lane, the clock will start counting down once again. The race will have effectively restarted, but of course there'll be no overtaking until the safety car comes in at the conclusion of that. So it's kind of like another formation lap, but under the clock having ticked down. So the race will have effectively restarted, Tony.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe it's a single file restart, like we would have safety car in the race,
yes,
without this red flag in between. So predicting a little bit easier first turn, first couple of corners, but you never know. Yeah, this is the moment for Eliseo Donno to try to take the lead of the race, and at the same time Thomas Fleming really needs to nail it at the moment where he accelerates to create a small gap that then allows him to keep the lead of the race. But again, if the actual start was a key moment of the race, but this restart has the same value.
Yes.
It's a great moment to overtake, and after that, leading drivers go similar pace, so always the overtaking is more difficult.
Thank you, Tony Verlander. Then the Tony Davis car that we can see there. There's McCade Wang's car. All these drivers champing at the bit to go back out again. There is Hanno Laskowski in the number 85 car. Hanno Laskowski, of course, one of our Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers driving for Emil Frey Sportivo, on board with Alessio Donno, who I have to say has had this kind of cool, calm, collected nature throughout the stoppage. He's kind of hardly moved, Tony. You know, he's just taking it all in his stride. I mean, he's a very quiet young man, but a very clever young man as well, and he'll be thinking about all sorts of things.
Yeah, again, differences between drivers. We saw Adrian Sutil earlier jumping out the car, immediately taking off the helmet. Some of the other drivers, let's say almost 20-30 minutes, we now had this red flag, have stayed inside the car. They just want to keep concentrated, take out all the other noises, take out all the other people that could, let's say, mess up their concentration. So their own car, inside the car, is the most quiet place. So I did the same very often. I stayed inside the car, so you have time to get yourself ready for the race, or in this case, for the restart.
Thanks, Tony. There, the Triple 2 car of Michael Porter that you can see for Ferrari of Seattle driver, and the clock has already started at exactly as you indicated it would, because it is leaving. The safety car is going to leave the pit lane now. Single file behind the safety car then for one lap, we anticipate. Then the safety car will come back in and we will go back to racing proper. Therefore, as you also indicated, Tony, it will be down to Tom Fleming to really just try and build up a little bit of a gap over Alessio Donno when it comes to the restart. Also tire temperatures. Now the tires are really cooled down. So in case we go racing first time by, it's also a lot due to a driver. Yes, to warm up the tires, but you cannot do much more. You can create a little bit better temperature on the tires, but that's not a huge difference. But the driving skill, where to brake, turn one, how much you can lean on the tire, how much you can thrust the grip, and there can be even several seconds difference on the opening lap just on the driver against driver, how much confidence you have. Right, so all the cars then are leaving and have left the pit lane. They're making the way, and there, exactly as Tony indicated, some really vigorous weaving going on there. And that is to try and generate temperature into the Pirelli tyres. Now, you do that by weaving. You, as I understand it, Tony, you're a racing driver. Safety car will come in at the conclusion of this lap, we're being told. You're a racing driver. You also use the brakes as well, because that's where you can really generate temperature, and that dissipates through the rims onto the tyres? That is exactly right. There's a lot of studies done. So with this weaving, you can create a little bit of temperature, but a lot of temperature is created through brake discs, brake material that he really heats up, transmits the heat to the wheel and to the rim, and then it gets to the tire. So also two things. One is the surface tempo of the tire, and also the temperature inside the tire combined with the tire pressure. So now the tire pressures are really low, so a little bit of weaving, but also leaning a little bit to the brakes all this lap creates temperature as well. And yeah, drivers, it's not an easy thing now. You stayed there in the car 30 minutes, opening lap behind the safety car. The speed is very low. You try to create temperature, and then you go straight to racing. So sometimes safety cars bring more safety cars. So let's see. We've said that more than once, haven't we? Okay, let's see then. So the Richard Mills safety car is coming in at the conclusion of this lap. Therefore, we will go back to racing. Please bear in mind we have two Finale Mondiale races in one here. We have the Finale Mondiale race for Trofeo Pirelli drivers and the Finale Mondiale race for the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers in this one world final race. So there'll be two podiums at the end of the race, one for Pirelli, one for Pirelli AM. Reminder to you, if you want to identify a Pirelli driver, red strip across the top of the windscreen. If you'd like to identify a Pirelli AM driver, white strip across the top of the windscreen. So the safety car has gone, and now it is down to these drivers. Now the leading driver is Tom Fleming doing the weaving there. Alessio Donno will try and anticipate when Tom Fleming is going to give it everything on the accelerator pedal. The same will be true of Adrian Sutil and Simon Ladniak as well. And Simon Ladniak almost running into the back of Adrian Sutil then. So keen is he to get away. When is Tom Fleming going to give it everything? Right now. Let's go back to racing then. And there you can see as the car, Simon Ladniak doing a very good job there of anticipating when Adrian Sutil was going to go. And Simon Ladniak puts himself to the outside of Adrian Sutil as they head in towards turn number 1. All the cars are back to racing again. Is Simon Ladniak going to be able to move up to P3 here? Adrian Sutil has got the inside line, and Simon Ladniak does have to tuck in behind him. Franz Exler is looking very lively. He's leading in Trofeo Pirelli Am ahead of Mark Musso from North America, and then Nobuhiro Imada. They are the top 3 for the Pirelli Am drivers. Bit of gravel across the tarmac there from the previous cars that have made uninvited trips into the gravel trap, so drivers just need to be a little bit cautious about that. It may not have quite the grip that they want, but from my point of view, Tony Verlander, I thought Tom Fleming did a very good job there, that restart.
Yeah, he did really good job. Eliseo Donner did not have any chance to overtake the leading car. Instead, B3 driver Adrian Sutil had a little poor start and allowed the 4th place driver to overtake him or challenge for turn 1. But Adrian, with his experience, managed to keep the P3, and now it's up to the pure pace. The single file start was way better, so we didn't have any contacts. At least we didn't see any contact, so we are ready for clean racing.
Thank you, Tony. The battle for P1 in Trofeo Pirelli Am. Franz Exler, Mark Musso, and Nobuhiro Imada. So a great showing from Mark Musso. Then this is Franz Exler. Now, Franz Exler has been racing for 150 years. I'm being disingenuous. Franz Exler's had lots and lots of experience through single-seaters and lots of categories. I have to say, having spoken to Franz, he's enjoying his racing in the Ferrari Challenge as much today as he did when he started racing. Absolutely loves it. Of course, he won the Copa Shell Championship last year, got elevated to Trofeo Pirelli Am this year, and has come into that and won it as we see a driver in the gravel there, and that is the number 9 car of Danilo Del Favero. So yellow flag at turn 15, and I'm sorry, Tony, one of the things that you've said, everything you tell me, you do make a lot of sense, but unfortunately when you have safety cars, sometimes it does breed more safety cars, and I really rather think if that car is stricken in the gravel, and I didn't see who it was, I could see Danilo Del Favero, and sure enough, we're going to have another safety car.
Yeah, there was one car, stayed on track, spun on track last turn, but the other car was in gravel, so I believe there must have been a contact that created this situation here. We see rear left suspension is broken.
Let's take a look.
Oh, he just spun.
He was on his own and just caught the back end of the car. Caught the back end of the car, and I want to see that again, but I think it was Justin Rothberg. I think it was the Ferrari Challenge North America Trofeo Pirelli Am champion Justin Rothberg. I might be wrong, but I would like to see that again and just check that out.
Yeah, I think it was 209. The spinning car number 9, and then collected the 209.
If that was 209, it was Justin Rothberg. From it was just I saw it for. It's Justin Rothberg, and thanks to my team then for, I say my team as if they'd worked for me, thanks to my advisors for confirming that it was Justin Rothberg then, the Trofeo Pirelli Am champion from Ferrari Challenge North America. It was just unfortunate because he was trying to avoid, and if the car is moving just a little bit, it just caught, didn't it?
Yeah, there was really no way to escape it. The car was just going enough backwards to collect the other car, and really unfortunate. Those things happen really quickly, and time to react, to go inside or outside. You make the decision.
Split second.
Make the decision very quickly, and unfortunately, this thing happened.
Well, that means that we have lost Danilo Del Favero and Justin Rothberg, presumably. In the meantime, it was Tom Fleming, Eliseo Donner, and Adrian Sutil, the top 3 for Trofeo Pirelli. We were watching the battle going on for Pirelli Am honours as well, which was between Franz Exler, Mark Musso, and Nobuhiro Imada. And we go back to the safety car. So, again, now the weaving is going on here because you've kind of built some temperature into the tyres, Tony, but they were perhaps not right up to optimum, so you've got to try and protect that and keep some temperature into those tyres now.
Yeah, I think this restart will be a bit easier than the actual one we saw before. Before this, after the red flag, the temperatures were really down.
Yes.
Now there is some temperature from the brakes to the tires, and it will be easier. I hope we get going soon. I hope they can clear the cars from the gravel really quickly.
That is Justin Rothberg walking away, and Justin and his family, he gets the thumbs up. He's perfectly okay. He's frustrated, but Justin and his family sat behind me at dinner last night after the Gala Awards, and I've had a lot of fun with Justin in North America this year. And the camaraderie in the paddock is such, Tony, across the Ferrari Challenge, whether it's Europe, Japan, North America, or the UK. Brilliant camaraderie between the drivers. And Dave Musial and Dave Musial 2.0, father and son combo that race in North America, said, look, when you're inviting Justin Rothberg up onto a podium in North America, just call him Rottweiler, will you? And I thought, I don't know whether I dare do this. I did do it, and I thought, oh, I hope I haven't upset the Rothberg family. And actually, they said last night, absolutely, we love it. Thank you so much. You know, and sometimes you take a bit of a pun, don't you, in doing something, but they're wonderful characters throughout the Ferrari Challenge, and you can have such great fun with the driver base, whether, as I say, it's Europe or Japan or the UK or North America. So very sad to see that Justin's out of the race. He's walked away from the car. He's had a great weekend, though, and of course he's had a great season by taking the Trofeo Pirelli AM Championship for North America. So I don't think we're going to be long, because I have to say I think the recovery teams here at Mugello have done a brilliant job in recovering cars very quickly. I'm sure that will be the case again. We're into the final 15 minutes of the race, and what have we seen? Proper 1 lap, 2 laps, perhaps?
Yeah, I think we saw at least, I mean, maybe 1 proper lap time. So.
Oh, well, there we are. It is racing. Sometimes it happens, and when you have such a healthy grid of cars, then of course incidents will occur. And that was just a really, really unfortunate racing incident. It's one of those things, and the cars weaving and making their way down. You run downhill down this very technical Mugello circuit. It's one of the first circuits when I started working with Ferrari. A safety car is going to come in this lap. I was going to tell you the story about being taken for a hot lap around Mugello. I was scared witless, I can tell you. And it wasn't Tony driving. He'd have made it even worse. Right, safety car going to come in this lap. And so, Tom Fleming, you've got to do it all over again, friend. Alessio Donna will hope to anticipate a bit better than he was able to do so last time around. Adrian Suter will be lively, so too will be Simon Ladniak. And keep your eyes on Franz Engstler, Mark Musso, and Nobuhiro Imada. Here we go then as they approach the final turn. You run downhill here in Mugello. And then the start-finish straight where you climb uphill 2 times, 2 small elevation changes on the start-finish straight. And Tom Fleming then trying to lull the drivers behind him into a full sense, or into a full sense of security. And he accelerates now. And for my money, he's done that pretty reasonably. So let's see how we do going into turn number 1. Then here come all the drivers. That wonderful sound from our commentary studio that you can hear there. And Mark Musso under some threat from Nobuhiro Imada. Nobuhiro Imada goes to the outside of Mark Musso. Alessio Dono to the outside of Tom Fleming. Adrian Sutil will try and dive to the inside. Oh, you can see there that the back end of the Alessio Dono car got a bit loose, and he had to control that slide with opposite lock, as the little bit of temperature loss then during that safety car phase meant the grip that he expected to be there wasn't quite there. So he was just a little bit vulnerable for a moment. So Tom Fleming has got away once again, having come second in the Drivers' Championship. He desperately wants to take the Finale Mondiale trophy to his home in the UK. And here comes Hanno Laskowski, we could just see in that shot. And once again, Tony, I think all the drivers doing a reasonable job in getting away.
Yeah, leading car, Thomas Fleming, accelerated way later than the previous restart. But still, he managed to keep the lead. Alessio Donno was able to go a little bit side by side going into turn 1, but then he had a huge sideways moment where he lost a little bit of momentum, and now Thomas is leading more or less with 1 second.
Thank you, Tony. There's Simon Ladniak. Front end of the car looked a little bit loose for Simon Ladniak. Now, Nobuhiro Imada then And Nobuhiro Imada chasing down Mark Musso. Mark Musso is P2 in Trofeo Pirelli Am at the moment. Leading Pirelli Am is Franz Hengstler, who's very nearly on terms with Simon Ladniak, who's running P4 in Trofeo Pirelli. So, as the cars head into the final turn, there is Max Mugelli. Max Mugelli then, who drives for the CDP Eureka competition team, heading up onto the start-finish straight right now. We're into 11.5 minutes of racing to come. The gap between P1 and P2 in Trofeo Pirelli is exactly 1 second. There's Mark Musso. There is Nobuhiro Imada. They are P2 and P3 in Trofeo Pirelli Am. Nicola Rossi taking a look at the inside there, I felt. So there is Franz Hengstler. That's the Mark Musso car. Mark Musso's in the middle of this mix at the moment. So it's Hengstler, Musso, Imada. Then it's James Owen. James Owen doing a very good job in that P4 position currently. Whether James Owen can get on terms with Nobuhiro Imada, we wait to see. He's about a second down from Nobuhiro Imada, so James has some work to do, I would suggest. Do bear in mind he's going to have Nobuhiro Imada has got the cushion of a Pirelli driver right behind him, as well as Max Mugelli. So that would mean that James Owen has got to get by him before he can even get on terms, if you like. But there is Max Mugelli, who we were talking about, running Max Mugelli is running P8 in the race, but it's actually P5 within the Trofeo Pirelli category. Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am drivers. Now, we're beginning to see one or two drivers being warned about track limits, Tony, the consequences of which can hurt you.
Yeah, nowadays in racing, Formula One, Challenge, GT, even at Le Mans, the track limits are one thing that race direction really monitors closely. Drivers being advised, told where the limits are. But again, to improve lap time, to go faster, drivers tend to bend these rules a bit, and that's why in various categories nowadays we see a lot of deleted lap times in qualifying, but also this penalty system for the race. So when you exceed track limits too many times, like we see now in our timing screen, car number 7 gets plus 5 second penalty for track limits.
Mohammed Hamdi then receiving the first of the penalties this, and as I'm given to understand it, and you've been in race control a number of times, Tony Verlander, you kind of get 3 warnings, don't you? And after the third warning, they say, right, enough is enough. You get a penalty. Right, Mark is the team manager of HRO and FF Corsa, who engineered the Tom Fleming car. He's with Ludovica.
Thank you, guys. Here we are with Mark for Discover More, the management for this race by Thomas, and otherwise he made a very good restart.
Yeah, we're not tense at all down here. What else would you be doing a Sunday morning? Ferrari, Finale, Mondiale, but Tom, he's got his head down, he's pulling away, doing a fantastic job. I just hope it all stays together for him now. He looks like he's got a small gap, and then great news for our James Owen in running P4 in our Pro-Am class. So for FF Corsa, it's going well at the moment, so let's look forward to the end and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Mark, you're doing a good job. Get the kettle on for when the race is over, friend, and I can have a cup of tea with you, like there would be time for that. Yeah, Tom Fleming is doing a good job, and big shout out to James Owen, Trofeo Pirelli Am driver, who's also doing a very good job as well. He's running P4, there you can see right in the middle of that mix, we can see the number 85 car is that is Hanno Laskowski for Emil Frey Sportivo. Now, very nearly contact there. There you can see what happens when we keep talking about these track limits. You get told 3 times, then you get a time penalty, and if you repeat after you get the time penalty, Tony, you get a drive-through penalty, which is exactly what is happening for Mohammed Hamdi here.
Yeah, also to respect these rules. And these penalties have been given before to other drivers, so the race director and the stewards, they need to maintain the same procedures. So that's why we see these penalties now. Teams should be able to advise their driver through radio, saying that, hey, now we got 1 warning, be careful. Now, when you got the plus 5 seconds, that should be the clear mark that something you're doing on track is not really by the rules.
Thank you, Tony. We're watching P6, 7, and 8. Michael Porter It was Michael Porter, Tony Davis, and Omar Balkasoon, and that gets lively as well. And Tony Davis goes around, and so too does Michael Porter. Hopefully every driver will be able to avoid here. But there was an instant just before that one, wasn't there, Tony?
Yeah, I think this group of drivers, they had contacts earlier on. We just saw a quick view of the previous contact, and I think it was a little bit of consequence of these things. These guys went side by side, but not enough room given to each other. So,
ironically, I think they were all three North American drivers battling out together there. And guess what? Safety car board is at the top of our screen, and we have got safety car out once again. And yes, well, certainly the car I think that is stricken out there was the Michael Porter car. So it was Michael Porter, Tony Davis. They were all involved in that. Tony did a big save, to be fair, and managed to hold on to that car. This is Franz Engstler, who's our Trofeo Pirelli AM leading driver.
Let's see, we will have another safety car now. If we get restarted, this is very difficult for the leading car, Thomas Fleming, because earlier this week he was really strong in the race, pulling twice a gap close to 10 seconds, and then the final safety car, he lost it. Adrian Sutil was able to win the race with some aggressive moves on Fleming, but now he's really measured as a driver, because we can see that, we could see already a few occasions that he has a bit more speed than second place driver Eliseo Donno, but now he's up to the restart. That will be the final and decisive restart for this race if we get going. So this is Eliseo's last chance, and also Thomas Fleming needs to repeat what he's done at least 2 times already in this final.
He has done it really, really well. So there you can see, that was just forgive me, Ludovica, I know you've got Luca Engstler standing by, but there was the first bit of contact that we saw. But this was the critical one. Tony Davis and the Treble 2 car getting together there, and that sent Michael Porter out, and I think it was Omar Balkasoon involved in there as well, unless I've got the livery wrong. So much going on and so much to try and keep abreast of here. Meantime, Ludovica is with Luca Engstler. Franz, of course, his father, is leading in Trofeo Pirelli AM. Ludovica.
Thank you, guys. Here we are with Luca. Luca, I want to discover with you more about Franz's race.
Yeah, so far all good, but as you know, in this sport, a lot can happen. So, yeah, head down, focus, trying not to do any mistakes and bring it home, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers, Luca Engstler himself, of course, a top racing driver. The Engstler family have got such talent, that's for sure. Safety car is coming in this lap, Tony. So, yes, what you said is absolutely right. I mean, Tom will know and will have learned, that he's just got to nail it, because you are vulnerable, aren't you, when you go for a restart?
Just having seen 2 of his previous restarts, I would still put my money on going early on throttle before the last corner or during the last corner. The last restarter, he waited more going into the straight line, and this opens, in my opinion, a little bit more opportunities for the P2 and P3 drivers. So if I was now the leading car driver, I would leave enough gap to the safety car, and then during the last turn you put the accelerator down, and then during the corner you can create a little bit of gap.
Well, we know that Tom is not listening to us, but that would have been the advice from top racing driver Tony Villander. Let's see how he does it then, because the safety car accelerates away right now, and it is down to Tom Fleming once again to just really nail this safety car restart. We're only going to have a couple of minutes of racing laps. I think we're going to get away with maybe 2 laps, depending on when Tom crosses the timing line. That's what it's all about, the relation with the clock. So when's he going to go for it here? A sense of expectation, and Tom can't. He's not allowed to accelerate and decelerate. When he goes, he's got to stay gone. Well, it was before the end of the turn, Tony, and he does go. The gap is not quite as big as it was previously, Simon Ladniak is fancying his chances against Adrian Sutil. Here we go into turn number 1 then. Hold on to your hats and any other loose clothing you might have as Alessio Dono took a look at the outside line. That's opened up a gap perhaps for Simon Ladniak, but it'd be the wrong line for the next turn. Tom has got his head down, he's trying to escape up the road, and that's what he needs to do. Adrian Sutil's rearview screen is full of Simon Ladniak, and, well, with 1.5 minutes remaining on this Ferrari Challenge race, we're going to get one more lap after this one. And it is Tom Fleming from Alessio Dono and Adrian Sutil. Then in the AM drivers, Franz Hengstler, Mark Musso and Nobuhiro Imada. It's as we were then, as the drivers make their way downhill right now. And Tom Fleming, well, Alessio Dono is, trust me, he knows exactly what's left on the clock. And he is going to try and get onto the back of Tom Fleming, because having taken the Trofeo Pirelli Championship, of course, he wants to take the World Final race as well. Tom Fleming, having narrowly lost out in the Trofeo Pirelli Championship, he wants to take the World Final race and at least come away from Mugello with 1 title. So there's still everything to play for between now and the end of this race. There is Franz Hengstler. We heard from his son Luca just before getting the race restarted. Luca acting as something of a driver coach to Franz Hengstler. How dare he, when Franz has been racing for so many years, but they are a formidable family of racing talent. So into the final turn comes Franz Hengstler right now. Tom Fleming is through, Alessio Dono as well. Tony has built up a reasonable margin.
Yeah, he's controlling really well. He drove really beautiful lap after this restart behind safety car, and a little bit on the limit, a little bit sideways movements. You could see some black marks leaving to the track, but at the same time, beautiful handling, beautiful control of his race car, and really using the Mugello track, apex to exit of the corners. Very difficult to drive. So many restarts. It's been like several sprint races inside one 30-minute race. And again, you could see that Thomas is really on the edge of the car and the grip. Car is moving a little bit more than before, but he's handling nice. And this is the final lap.
It is the final lap. We've started the last lap of our last race of 2023 in Ferrari Challenge. Tom Fleming leading, Alessio Dono leading Adrian Sutil. They are ahead of Simon Ladniak. Then we get into the cars of Franz Hengstler and Mark Musso and Nobuhiro Imada, who are the top 3 in Trofeo Pirelli AM. You can see the Hengstler pit wall there as we split the screen. Franz Hengstler leading for the World Final race. Luca Hengstler encouraging him on the team radio. This is Alessio Dono, who's trying to get closer to Tom Fleming. But at the moment, whatever he throws at it, it is not enough. We are in the final stages of this final race of 2023 of what has been an epic year of Ferrari Challenge racing right around the world. There is Mark Musso running P2 in Pirelli AM. Tom Fleming, Alessio Dono, Adrian Sutil are the top 3 in Trofeo Pirelli. It's all about this revered title of Finale Mondiale to become world champion in his first competitive year of racing. Tom Fleming will head towards the checkered flag. He's already celebrating because Tom Fleming from the UK becomes Ferrari Challenge Finale Mondiale world final champion in Trofeo Pirelli. And it's going to be Franz Hengstler, double bubble for Franz Hengstler. Having won the Trofeo Pirelli AM Championship, he wins the world final race as well. It was Fleming, Dono and Sutil for the Pirelli drivers. It was Hengstler, Musso and Nobuhiro Imada for the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. And I have to say a big shout out to James Owen, who finished P4. That's a great result as well, James. I'm from Welsh Wales, you know, as James would say. Well done, P4. Fantastic stuff, absolutely. And well, that was something of an extraordinarily dramatic race, Tony, where drivers were on a high, on a low, on a high, on a low, and you having to pick yourself up so many times.
Yeah, but we do have a very deserved race winner. Beautiful speed. He had the whole weekend. Cut a little bit less maybe in the final races of the real championship, but really deserved world final winner. Beautiful driving and a talented young man.
Big thanks to Tony Verlander, who's stuck with me on what feels like it's been something of an endurance, if not an endurance race. Always appreciate being on the air with you. I look forward to seeing you in the Ferrari show this afternoon. Tony Verlander, big thanks.
Thank you.
And Tony makes his way now to prepare for his part in the Ferrari show. And, of course, we will be bringing you 2 podiums. And one for Pirelli drivers and one for Pirelli AM drivers. Here's confirmation of the top 3 in each of the categories. Thomas Fleming is world champion. Alicia O'Donnell P2, Adrian Sutil P3. Trofeo Pirelli AM, Franz Engstler, Mark Musso, and Nobuhiro Amada. Well done to all our drivers in, as I say, what was quite a dramatic endurance. Because, of course, we had the stoppage and then the safety cars, and oh, goodness me. Well, young Tom, who, as I said, as he headed towards the start-finish line, you know, in his first year of competitive racing, to finish P2 in the Drivers' Championship and then to take the Finale Mondiale title. Be pretty proud of what you've done, friend. And the dealer and team are going to be proud of him, that's for sure. And, well, there is Adrian Sutil, of course, a renowned driver, former Formula One star, enjoying his racing in the Ferrari Challenge. There's Alicia O'Donnell. He's taken P2. He has, of course, taken the championship. And Tom's celebrating on the top step of the podium. He made the mistake of knocking on our studio door as he walked past to a press conference the other day, and I hauled him in here and put him on the air. He wasn't expecting that, but he's a really likeable young man. Oh, that is so nice to see. They have been so competitive all season long. Alicia O'Donnell and Tom Fleming together, and there is Franz Engstler being congratulated by his son Luke. Please enjoy the pit show right now for Trofeo Pirelli.
Thomas, congratulations. It's very a pleasure and emotional to be here with you in this moment. We told a very important season for you this year, but now you are a Finale Mondiale champion.
World champion. Oh my God, it means everything to me to be even at this event and to come away as world champion. I was choking on the last lap. I just couldn't breathe because of how much, you know, it all means to me and the team. And, you know, FF hasn't been back since COVID, and you know, the first pairing of drivers was this year. So we started from zero, from like my experience, and just worked all the way up. And you know, I think we've come away as the best product. But oh man, it means so much to me. The first start as well before the red flag was nuts. Dono and Bent were trying to squeeze me both, so I just backed out, got the switch back on both of them, and made sure we held the lead, just stayed calm. But yeah, I just want to thank you so much to FF Corsa, everybody around me, because like without you, I wouldn't be here where I am today. So, thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Well, when you say Ferrari, there's emotions. And there we have it. Here is Franz Engstler. And we're going to hear from Franz Engstler. I mean, another title, Franz.
Franz, you make a double this year. You are a world champion of Finali Mondiali Ferrari.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing. 2 times to win the World Championship. This is really unbelievable. And I have to say thank you so much to my team, to Charles Pozzi Racing. He gave me a beautiful car for the whole season. And especially today, I fight and I do my maximum. But yeah, we was on the lucky side. And I just can say thank you so much to all of them. And yeah, thank you. I'm so happy.
Thank you too. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well done, Franz Engstler. Great to hear from you, of course, and great to hear from Tom Fleming. Just previous to that, here are the highlights. Here, confirmation then of the classification. Thomas Fleming, Alessio Dono, Adrian Sutil, the top 3 for Trofeo Pirelli. For Trofeo Pirelli, Am, Franz Engstler, Mark Musso, and Nobuhiro Imada. The rest of the order that you can see in graphics. And it was a big grid of cars for our final race of 2023. Okay, let's take a look at the race statistics powered by AWS. And, well, their Custodio Toledo making the best progress in Trofeo Pirelli. And Trofeo Pirelli Am, it was Kim Eriksson. We will be heading up to the podium next. 2 podiums to come, as I mentioned. Then we have
siamo pronti
per
il
podium to come.
Trofeo Pirelli. Chiamiamo i vincitori di questa finale
There is
mondiale.
Michele Mambelli then, to the right-hand side of your picture. Fine man he is, you know. And he is bringing out the drivers for their podium celebrations. Here comes Adrian Sutil taking P3 in Trofeo Pirelli. Alessio Dono taking P2. And then the Trofeo Pirelli World Champion is Thomas Fleming. He wins Finali Mondiale.
Mr. Richard Fleming. Inno nazionale. Il nostro applauso e chiediamo per presentare il trofeo d'onore Antonello Coletta, Ferrari Global Head of Endurance e Corse Clienti, che consegna il trofeo alla terza classificata.
Ferrari Global Head of Endurance and Corse Clienti, Mr. Antonello Coletta, making that wonderful trophy presentation to Adrian Sutil. They are glorious trophies. Next up, in terms of trophy presentations, it's Mr. Enrico Galliera, the Ferrari Chief Marketing and Commercial Officer, making the trophy presentation too. Alessio Dono and Chief Executive Officer Mr. Benedetto Vigna making the trophy presentation to our world champion Thomas Fleming. Lucio Vagani from Pirelli is there to award the Pirelli trophy as well, and everyone together on what is a heaving podium, and it's beautiful to see, absolutely beautiful to see, and all photographs being taken here. And Mr. Vigna then holding the trophy now, and that is great to see. What a lovely shot, our Trofeo Pirelli podium. Well done to everyone. And our trophy presenters, I suspect, will leave the podium pretty quickly now on account of the fact there's going to be some very quick champagne opening. Adrian Sutil then taking P3 for Goem Baron Motorsport. Taking P2, it's Alessio Dono. For HR Owen and FF Corsa, Thomas Fleming then becomes the world champion. Up next, we will be having the Trofeo Pirelli AM podium. The drivers that we will be seeing, Nobuhiro Imada, Mark Musso, and Franz Engstler. And there you can see down there, just underneath the podium, how everyone is really anticipating the next podium to come to bring to a close our finale Mondiale Trofeo Pirelli races, both Pirelli and Pirelli AM. Just getting the podium tidied up before we bring our drivers back out, and plenty of people down there, as you can see. And Michele then is bringing the cars out. Sorry, the cars, the drivers. It's been a long day already, you know. It's only 10 to 1. Right. Nobuhiro Imada it is. Step 3 of our Trofeo Pirelli AM podium. Step 2, Mark Musso. Well done, Mark. And then the champion, once again, the Charles Pozzi GT Racing driver, Franz Engstler, who is going to be there on behalf of the team. Well, it's going to be Franz's son, Luca. So as the anthem plays out for Franz Engstler, baseball caps go back on. You can see the champion shirts already being sported by the Charles Pozzi GT Racing team, as James Collado right now, Ferrari official GT driver, makes trophy presentation to Nobuhiro Imada for P3. The P2 trophy is going to Mark Musso, and Mark Musso driving for Ferrari of Ontario, and Antonio Giovinazzi is here to make the trophy presentation to Mark. And then on the top step of the podium, here's Alessandro Pierguidi to make the trophy presentation to Franz Engstler, who receives the Pirelli trophy from Lucio Vagani, head of Pirelli Motorsport as well. Let's get everyone together here, and Luca Engstler receiving a trophy, of course, for the teams, and everyone getting together for the photographs here. And here are the cars then that propelled their drivers to those podium places. For Rosso Scuderia, it's Nobuhiro Imada. For Ferrari of Ontario, Mark Musso. And for Charles Posse GT Racing, he is world champion, Franz Engstler. So our Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am Finale Mondiale is completed. In fact, that's all the racing done for 2023. Ferrari show is still to come, but the racing is done and dusted here at Mugello. If you've been with us all season long, thank you so much. If you've been with us today, thank you so much also. And we look forward to seeing you, we hope, in 2024. And goodbye for now.